I was young and foolish. Listen, I'm old and foolish, so look, I don't know if I ever got up early enough to get that worm. I don't know what that meant. I guess for my fishermen, maybe Rocky can enlighten us. Does the early bird really catch the worm, Rocky? I know that you did the fishing thing. We're gonna go around the room, find out how everybody's weekend went. It's good to see everybody. Uh-oh, she gives a thumbs down. Hey, Randy, good to see you. Y'all do me a favor if you can. Go ahead and put in the chat city, state, maybe the temperature of where you are. How is it looking in your neck of the woods? I couldn't believe I woke up. It's 51 degrees here in Virginia Beach. That's crazy. What in the world is going on? No, that's right. Gap Band back in the day. How many of y'all remember that? Uncle Charlie had some help. Y'all, I am tired with a capital T. I woke up about 1,400 times last night. I swear I counted each one of them. It was terrible. I think it was some of them movies we was watching earlier this weekend, Cherie. We was watching a little bit of everything. You know, you got to watch your movie binging and watching. You know, you shouldn't probably mix things. You know, you go from thriller to drama to comedy to, I think it leaves you confused. It's kind of like mixing your drinks or something. You know, it's like the brown should stay with the brown.
Oh, kind of like a social media feed?
Exactly. Uh-oh. You ain't talking about me. I ain't mess with you, Rodney. I've been cleaning up my stuff. We're going to get into this week. I can't wait. Let's go around the room. Christine Grand Rising, great morning. How was your weekend, ma'am?
Good morning. Good morning. I had a good weekend, I must say. It was good. It was very full and productive. Saturday was my mom's 75th birthday. And normally we would have had a huge, shebang and the whole, sparkles and fireworks and the whole nine. But she's having the best party ever in heaven. So celebrated her this weekend. Actually, I was at the studio doing what she taught me how to do so well, and that was pour into some young people. So that's what I did this weekend. And then I did a collab with a new vendor. And we had new warm-up suits for my company members. And so they put those on, and they were so excited just about having that new attire, getting ready for the production. Had a really great weekend. Just spent time with family in my studio family. So, and shout out to Jen. Jen reached out to me the other day just to check on me because she saw it was my mom's birthday. So I love my fam. My fam is far and wide. So, yep.
I love it. I love it, Christine. Mama Anna would be awfully proud. Is awfully proud. Listen, I promise you, she is not sad at all. I love it. I love it, Christine. Christine, you said a collab. Is that like a dress rehearsal or something? Is it just trying on the outfit? How does that work? Oh, a collab. Oh, my bad. I thought it was something different.
No, it's a collaboration.
Yes, ma'am. I thought you were saying
with a vendor who actually happens to be my niece.
Really?
She's into she has a clothing line. It's called Certified Risk Takers. And so they're branching out to help other entrepreneurs like myself outfit, whether you have a cheer team, dance team, what have you. So collaboration, Coach. I won't shorten words anymore with you.
Yes, ma'am. I hadn't had my coffee. I had to turn the music all the way down to make sure I was dialed in. Stop laughing at people, Rocky. It's a flamingo thing.
Is my mic okay? Is it too low, Cherie? Is it?
No, your mic's.
It's fine. Okay,
I can hear you fine.
It's not me.
I hear you fine.
Okay, it's not.
Coach is actually kind of low, but you're loud and clear, Christine.
Coach is low. He is a little low.
Am I better now? Is that better?
Oh, that's better.
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, I was hot in my headphones, and I was thinking that my mic was hot. No, you good, Christine. It was me, wasn't you? Cherie, Grand Rising, great morning. How was your weekend, Mom?
My weekend?
Yeah, listen.
It's okay.
I'm trying to figure it out. Don't remind me, please. I was getting ready to go get coffee at 3:00. Listen, we didn't have creamer, and so that was a whole problem. I was So, but go ahead, Cherie. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good morning. Good morning, morning show. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We had a busy weekend. Still doing a bunch of stuff around the house, trying to get ready for our upcoming move. But celebrated our oldest grandbaby's birthday a day early. Her birthday is actually today. Happy birthday, Zia. She turns 13 today.
Whole
So we did
teenager. What are we
cake
gonna
and
do?
ice cream yesterday. Yeah, she's a whole 13.
Mm-mm-mm. I wonder where the time goes other than not here. Does anybody ever
I
sit
can't
and-
believe it's been 13 years.
I can't
It seems
either,
like just
Sheree.
yesterday she was born. So yeah.
I can't either. And it's the pictures for me. Y'all ever look at the pictures of children when they grow from, say, 5 to 7 to 8, like they change so much, that little window. And then by the time they hit that teenage stretch, here we go. Here we go. Jennifer, I know you know something about that. Where has the time gone? Grand Rising, how was your weekend, Jenny Jen?
She may be still getting herself situated. She had
Oh.
a little technical challenge.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see no back channels. Okay, cool. No worries. She's back. Maybe her tech is teching now. Jen, you there? No.
Caller,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me?
Call it. I can hear you.
Oh, I swear I be doing too much over here.
Listen.
Too much. My weekend was good. It was very busy, very, very busy. So I've been working on a lot of things in the lab over this weekend. Got caught up on a lot of things that I needed to get caught up on. And Taylor was gone on weekend. So I was, she's now a Kona Ice. I don't know what you call her. Kona Icepreneur. So she been
John
gone.
snatched up.
Yeah, but she love it, man. She is all in. She done came back using her remarkable yay with a whole bunch of notes that she has and different things. You know, those young people had a different ways to take a brand a different way. So definitely in alignment with what we'll be talking about this week. So yeah, I am good over here. And yes, Christine, we love you too.
Absolute. No, I get it. Yeah, that's right up Taylor's colorful alley. That whole thing. I can see her having nail stations and hair stations and different, like, it's a whole thing. So yeah. Hey, Rocky, Grand Rising. Did you catch any fish?
Hey, I don't know if the early bird catches the worm because I slept in and we missed the whole thing. But my weekend was good. We were in Virginia Beach, so you can fuss at me like I fuss at you. We went to a Cars and Coffee event, and then we went to go see the new Spider-Man movie, which was very good, very, very good. And you forget it's a cartoon. It's so good, and they mix in cartoon and reality. So that was so good. And then I met up with my best friend of 30 plus years. I haven't seen her in a while. I got to meet the babies. Her oldest I hadn't seen since she was like 6 months or so. And then her second child I never met. So it was a whole reunion. And of course her sisters are like my sisters. So it was a great reunion. We had a good time. Then I came back home and finished up some new client messages that I'm using and building up on my agency. So it was a busy weekend, but a very fulfilling and prosperous weekend.
I love it. Now, this is a childhood friend, I'm assuming, right? Did y'all go to school together?
We've been friends since the 4th grade, Coach.
I love it.
Not one argument ever. Like that's my bestie Westie.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I saw the pictures. I was like, let me find out. Rocky doing the reunion and things. I ain't mad at you, girl. I love it.
Yeah, and we went to my favorite place, Sushi King. I take everybody there.
I kind of thought I noticed the background, but I said I ain't saying nothing because what we know about Rocky, if you want to find Rocky, find Sushi King. She'll be there eventually. So yeah, boy, I love it. The thing I do love about that place, though, Rock, it has things other than sushi for us non-sushi real connoisseurs over here. Speaking of sushi, my daughter, what was that they made the other night, Cherie? We went over the house. They said they were having dinner, so we kind of waited, ate dinner here. You got to tell people what you made, Cherie. And then we went
I
over.
didn't make it. What I
No,
made.
I'm talking about
what
for
I
what
made.
you. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But I'm just saying it was like along the sushi, a sushi bake or something. I'd never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, she made sushi bake. I don't know what that
is.
was.
Okay, gotcha.
But they
Yeah.
love sushi.
Oh, they
so
was going in.
Yeah, they enjoyed that. But I made my version of arroz con pollo.
Ooh, all right. And I was making my version of "Can I have seconds, please?"
Help me!
It was fire. Look, Cherie is getting her Panamanian dishes like cuisine, like she's working on some stuff, y'all. And I promise you right now, your boy is not mad. It's 57 degrees in Clinton, Maryland, 53 degrees. Good Lord. In White Plains, New York. Well, here's what's not right. It shouldn't be 53 in White Plains, Randy, and 51 in Virginia Beach. There's got to be close to 1,000 miles that separates the two. 600, 700 miles away, maybe? I don't know. Are you kidding me? Well, here's what we do know. Hopefully it wasn't cold in Jacksonville. The Jazz Fest, where Tanya got a chance to run into Uncle Charlie. I love it. I absolutely love it. Shout out Cynthia from Texas is in the building this morning, guys. I hope you guys are doing great. Jennifer just pulled up on stage. It's about to be a problem. Great morning, everybody. Good to have everybody in the building. Hopefully you had a great weekend. We're going to run around the room real quick and do a roll call. Let's go. Uncle Ernie is in the building. Cynthia is in the building. Grand Rising, everybody. Good to see you, James. Couldn't do what we do the way we do it, at least not on KBCN without you, my friend. Tanya popping with the pink. Let's go. Terry is in the building. Grand Rising, Terry. Randy is in the building. Hey, Tammy. Good to see you. Shout out to my MMC fam. Dr. Pam is in the building. Shout out to Jill Hines, who just went over 60,000 organic followers on Instagram. Wow. Jill, at some point this week, we're going to have to get you up on stage. Maybe you can talk about how you have grown that channel. I mean, when we met, I think you had a couple of 100 people, maybe. Amazing. Ain't bought one follower. Come on now. And she's attracting sponsorship deals. We're going to talk about all of those kinds of things this week, talking about sales, marketing, promotions, and PR, the stuff that will make or break your business. Good to see you in the building this morning, George. Grand Rising, Tiff. Good to see you, Lanita. Shout out to all my military veterans and folks who are serving and have served. Appreciate you, and thank you so much for your service, guys. So we're going to go around the room. If you guys are watching us by way of KBCN TV, can you drop a note in the chat just so that we can know that you're there? We'd love to be able to greet you personally. Appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much for pulling up. You could be anywhere, but you decide to pull up with us this Monday. So here's what I want to do. I want to kind of go around the room, get this conversation started early. We kind of finished off last week. Rocky did a fire. If y'all did not catch Tech Thursday last week, you need to go back to KBCN TV and catch the replay. It was absolutely astounding. One of the things, and I'm so glad that YB is here. YB, if you're in a position where you can kind of hop up, I know this is your jam. We're going to talk a little bit about the ABCs of sales. We're going to talk about that today. Tomorrow, we're going to deal with lessons learned in business and life when it comes to marketing. Monty Weaver's going to pull up for Teach Me Tuesday tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, we're going to talk about real lessons in life and business around promotion. When it gets to the point to where you are promoting in order to be able to get a sale, there's a whole strategy around that. We're going to talk about all of those kinds of things. Let me ask you a question. You suck at sales. Put me in the chat. You really don't do well when it comes to actually selling. Put me in the chat. Either you don't do well with it or you don't like it. You just rather people come in and just buy what they want. Just make up your mind. Like, That's why we have a store. Like, just come in, purchase what you want. I'm not pushing you to do nothing you don't want to do. How many of you guys view sales as, you trying to get somebody to do something that they are not really willing to do? Put me in the chat. We're going to talk about all of those things this week. Thursday, guys, we're going to deal with, and hopefully we'll have a couple of friends pull up around the public relations conversation. One of the reasons why I wanted to unpack these things this week, and then also don't forget, Wednesday, we are going to have some friends. When it comes to sales and marketing, they're genius at it. They're a couple that Sheree and I coached in the MAPS Relationship Academy years ago. He's a realtor. She is a therapist. And together they are running some amazing things around business. Jeremiah and Tiara Abu Bakr will be with us on Wednesday for We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. The story behind their brand is amazing, and it's absolutely going to change some things for you. So here's what I'd like to do. What I'd like to kind of talk about sales, but more from a promotion standpoint, like driving the bottom line of your business. Here's what we know about sales. It comes in a couple of different forms. A lot of us are very familiar with personal selling. That involves face-to-face sales strategies, stuff like car dealers, people like that, door-to-door salesmen, maybe indoor. You think about people like, if you work for telecom, Verizon, all these, they do in-house or in-house selling, if you will. Then you have your outside selling, inside versus outside, all kinds of different ways. And then you have the kinds of sales that are more promotion-oriented. There's sales promotions that offer like a wide variety of different sales strategies and, things from coupons and catalogs and trade shows and things like that. When I was in the sales and advertising business, radio sales was an outside sales job. You literally walked into an establishment and you pitched them on the idea of buying air. When you think about advertising, particularly, traditional advertising, we called it airtime. And the truth of the matter is that you often would have to go in and kind of create a demand for what you're doing because you're literally selling nothing. You don't sell a physical product. When somebody buys airtime from me, they get a contract. They don't get a thing. There's not a widget. There's not anything tangible. So in many ways, you have to often create for them sort of this idea that they need this. Particularly when we show up, oftentimes we are all involved in different services and things where people may not be you focused right now. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the ABCs of selling, whether you're talking about it from the personal selling standpoint, sales promotions. If you struggle with that, put me in the chat. I'm hoping to help you. YB, if I can, and I know you're in a position to kind of crack this open. And John, I'd love to hear from you too, and Rock. And then we'll all chime in on this. But YB, walk us through just really quickly some of the challenges and the inhibitions of people when it comes to selling. Why is it that we're so fearful of it? And what are some of the nuts and bolts of it that we should probably be thinking about? Come on, talk to me. Grand Rising, sir.
Peace and blessings. So glad to be back in the house once again. I'll get into why I have so much free time a little later, but I would say the biggest challenges that people have when it comes to selling is, number one, past experiences. It could be dealing with someone who was extremely pushy, or they may have been aggressive, and so when it's their time to go out and sell, they think about those people and how the person who they're talking to may feel. And so they make up these things in their mind. And so they don't take the action because they don't like how it feels to approach someone. That's number one. Number two is rejection. That would probably be the biggest one, is the fear of someone saying no to them. And I had to share this with someone this weekend that, someone saying no to you because of something you offer, they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to the opportunity that you're offering them. And the opportunity may not be something that they want. You may want to offer someone a chocolate cake. You want to sell them a chocolate cake, and they say no to you. And you take it personal and say, you know what, I'm going to stop selling chocolate cake, when you may not realize they may be allergic to chocolate cake. So a lot of it is just the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, or the fear of success. I've had to deal with that, just the fear of winning and what will happen when I win big. and then I can't win anymore, right? So a lot of it starts in the mind. A lot of it is just images that we create, and when I say we, I'm talking about me. I'm including myself, and having to overcome that in order to take the necessary step to offer an opportunity or offer a solution. Because sales, that's really what sales is, right? Sales is you're offering a solution to someone's problem. And the moment I thought about it from that perspective, Glenn, I have no problems with offering the things that I have, or even promoting, resources or tools or whatever it is, because I take me out of it, because it's not about me. I take me out of it. So once I take me out of it, then it becomes easier to have a conversation with people and lead with questions. So another big challenge is that people don't know how to communicate. They're so quick to pitch their product. That's the first thing you do. Hey, you want to buy this? No, I don't know you, so I don't want to buy it. So we have to have a process by which to establish that rapport and identify if that person is even the right person to approach with the solution that you have to offer. So I would say those are the few things that really prevents people from being successful when it comes to selling.
Listen, I love it, YB. If y'all heard any of what he said and you resonated, put me in the chat. Maybe there was a specific thing you said, and I saw Jennifer, she's like, oh, that's me. Put it in the chat. Where did you find yourself? Because my hope is before this week is over, we'll help you guys understand sort of the differences between sales, marketing, promotions, PR. They all are very similar. I think that we spend a lot of time trying to separate the two or three or four in our mind, when really, quite frankly, they work in concert with each other. We should be thinking about how we can weave all of those things into our strategies. But yeah, I invited a couple of people this week to pull up, and we'll randomly be bringing folks up to stage who, quite frankly, this is their area. When it comes to selling, this is their area. John Schultz, it was so good to see you this past weekend, bro. I got Jen in the building, Rocky's in the building, Sharia's in the building, Christina's in the building. Before we go to John, Jen, come on through. You were clipping it up. I just wanted to hear from you guys. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. So I've learned a lot over the past couple of months about selling, because I haven't been in a position where I actually had to sell my services, because everything was coming to me, and I did a pivot and a rebrand in my business, which led me to now have to actually sell to people I didn't know, which is a total different thing. So if I get you on my calendar, I got you. I'm good. And I needed to be told, you need to stop saying that. You need to stop saying that you suck at selling, because if you're on my calendar, you fill out my form, I know what you want, it's clear, then I can allow you to I can give you that opportunity, like YB said, and tell you why you need it. I can go through all of that. That's comfortable for me. What's not comfortable is now, like YB said, approaching people who don't know you. And I have been in that position. I actually got out in these Atlanta streets and went into businesses, and it was hard. Like, it was I needed therapy. It was a whole thing, because I actually sat in front of businesses and just sat there like, why can't I go in? Why can't I go in? Well, it was all of those things that YB said that I made up in my head, all my past experiences with salespeople who are so pushy and asking you all these uncomfortable questions, and just all of the things. But after talking to multiple people and getting to a comfortable space for me, I understood that it's not about, you're going to go in this business and you're going to shove systems and marketing and logo marketing down their throat. No, you're going to find out if they have an issue. If they don't have an issue, then keep it going. For me, my passion is, you do have an issue for real. I'm trying to help you. Please, please let me help you. And they're just like, no, I don't have an issue. Yes, you do, because you know. So we have to get to a place where it's okay to let people be on their own. If you know they have an issue, you know that the issue needs to be solved, just drop your stuff off here. If you change your mind, here's my card, here's my information. You can scan this QR code. You can call this number. It'll, show you the services and keep it moving. And
Yeah.
that's the best thing to do.
That
me,
is hilarious.
for me.
Rocky is, I get it. I totally get it. And let me just submit this on the front end. It has nothing to do with whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. I have had those experiences, Jen, sitting out front of a business and saying, so when am I going to go in here? And what am I going to say? And why am I here? And what if they say this? What will I say to that? And being in my head, believe it or not, as extrovert as I am, I can absolutely relate. Y'all, let me say this. We're here to help. What business are you in? Put it in the chat. What is your industry? What's your business? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in, because every business has a different sales cycle. All businesses are not created the same. And Rocky, I know you're clipping it up. John, when you're in a place where you can talk, do me a favor and clip your mic up, and we'll go to you as well. Come on, Rock. You had something?
Yeah, so for me, I'm not a salesperson. I am a marketing person. So for years, I've always used attraction marketing. I always felt like exactly what YB said. I always felt like if somebody doesn't want something, why am I going to continue to, manage their objections because they don't want it? And I haven't had to go out and sell because my clients, my testimonials speak for me. Now, when I did change my mind about sales, which is probably within the last year, I noticed I had sales calls. It was exactly what he said. I had to learn that no isn't a no. It's like a not right now. And for me, it's the not right. Can y'all hear me? I got the red bar down.
you were clipping up a little bit, but we can hear you. It's tough, but we can hear you.
Yeah. I had to learn that the no wasn't a no, it was not right now. And I saw the proof when clients, I had the consult and then they would come back later and say, yeah, I'm ready to hire you now. And I realized, you know what? They maybe couldn't afford me right now. Maybe they didn't have their business together in that moment. It may be something else. But the act of having a sales call frightened the life of me. But there is something new that I'm going to be doing that a lot of people are doing for Sales Coach, and that is selling and doing on the front end. So now my new sales method is creating for people their new Instagram feed, and I'm building out websites now. So creating for people that don't have websites, like going into Google and seeing who has a website, who doesn't, building their website and design for them, and then saying, hey, here you go. This is your brand new website. If you happen to need it, I designed it and built it out for you. Or, hey, here is your new Instagram feed. I designed it and built it out for you. I noticed you needed, whatever, doing the audit on the front end and then showing them their results and the potential results on the back end. And then it's a quick and easy sale. But I think for some, the fear of sales, you don't have to do it if you produce the results first and you produce the value first, because then it's an easy sale. That way you don't have to chase. And that's the method that works for me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Guys, if you're just pulling up all week long, we're talking about the 4 things I believe that can make or break your business. And it's sales, marketing, promotions, and PR. They're all very different. But here's what I will tell you. They lead to the same thing. I'm going to say it again. They're all very different, but they lead to the same thing. You are going to experience one of these categories at some point throughout your business, or you won't have a business. I promise you. And you're going to have to become really good at it if you want to grow and scale your business. A lot of you guys are struggling. And one of the reasons why you are so afraid to take the next step is because the last step you didn't feel really sure about. You didn't feel really confident about that last step. So you're kind of feeling like I'm a little bit on a shaky ground right here. I don't know if I can roll the dice here. Rocky, what you said is so true on so many different levels. We're going to unpack all of those things. But today we're just talking about some of the ABCs of sales, particularly in your industry. Come on, John.
Yeah, good morning. So sales for me is, I guess, I know when I
dropped out, John. Say it again.
Sales for me, yeah, my alarm jumped on. Sales for me is just a way of life, I guess. I don't know why. It's just never been difficult, but I'm going to just give you some of the things I learned. in my traditional sales, and then we can kind of chop it up from there. One of the main things I learned in sales was learning to overcome the objection, learning to overcome the no, and I had to learn that and practice that. And what I had to do, one of the first steps I had to do was learning to listen to what they said they needed, not what I wanted them to have. So I had to know my product in order to understand which services needed to be presented instead of the services I wanted to talk about. And once you kind of learn that and begin to master your own services and have a true understanding of what you offer, then I believe it becomes easier, not easy, but easier to talk about it because it's something that you know and you really study. I believe a lot of us have things that are services and products that may be new or may be different that may be hard to enter into the marketplace. But then there are some of us who just got great things that people always want, and we just present it. But Coach, one thing I wanted to talk about is study your product or services, then be able to overcome the no by listening to the client so that you'll know what products or services you should be selling. That's my point right now.
I love that. I love that. We got Christine and Cherie. I think Christine had you a little bit there, Cherie. If we can let Christine go, and then we're going to come to you. 7:32, guys. We're talking about sales, marketing, promotions, and PR this week. The stuff that'll make or break your business. Come on, Christine.
So listening to everyone, I can connect with just about everyone this morning. And when I first started the studio almost 15 years ago now, I had an advantage, whereas I was in a school system and I started teaching dance. And so the parents came to me and they shared their pain points with me. And it made it easy for me to market or sell what I was offering. And so when I ventured out, my goal was to move away from people that I knew because they already knew me. They already knew what I did. So I really wasn't selling anything at that point. But once I moved away from the school system, back in 2014, my goal was to market or sell to people that I did not know. Like Jenna was talking about, knocking on those doors and putting myself out there. What I took from that was I just continued to share what I offered based on the community's pain points, which made it easier for me, or less challenging, if you will, for me to actually sell my wares and sell what I offered. And I hit a milestone when I was able to bring people in that I did not know, that they did not know me. It wasn't word of mouth. It wasn't because so-and-so's auntie told them about me. It was merely because I was marketing myself or selling what I offered. And so once I was able to find out what the community was looking for, because the dance industry here in the DMV is very saturated. And so I had to find that niche. And so once I found that niche, I was able to market or sell based on the niche of the pain point of my community. And then flipping over to the mompreneur experience, that was very organic for me. I didn't have to push it because I was already sharing my story on social media about who I was and how I, am able to get me time. It was a point where people were coming and chasing after me, wanting to know how I did what I did. And then in talking to, of course, my amazing coaches, figuring out how to market that or how to sell that based on what I was already doing. So didn't have any challenges. I am an introvert. I am that turtle, if you will. But because I was able to hit pain points of my target client, it made it less challenging for me to put myself out there. I'll yield.
That's so good, Christine. That is so good. Cherie, it's funny when I think about introverts, oftentimes, because of y'all's analytical approach to things, you often walk in with answers that people didn't ask you for. Like you're thinking about, it's like anybody asked you that yet. Come on, talk to us about some of your experiences, because this is something I've watched you grow in exponentially over the last 8 years that we've been in business. It's just it's been amazing for real.
Yeah, truly, as an introvert, sales has not been easy, But the things that I've found that have helped me, number one is for me as an introvert, I can't sell something that I don't believe in. So it's not just knowing the product or the service, but actually being passionate about it. When you're passionate about it, that comes across in your delivery when you are selling, because you're selling the outcome, not the thing. And so you're able to really have a heartfelt connection to it. So when you're sharing with people about the product or service, it's coming from a place of passion. And I think that that's essential, especially as introverts, because we're not as charismatic per se as a flamingo person or somebody with a more extroverted personality. Also, I think being able to show up. I think a lot of times people will focus on, you don't want to push products in people's faces. I think a lot, especially if you provide services, simply showing up. And what I mean by that is being visible, letting people see you, see the results. And so this is where testimonials are key. Having people that can actually see the results, having people that are doing that word of mouth for you. Because if I provide a service, me telling people myself, these are the results, is not going to have as much power as me allowing former clients to be able to share what they've gotten from it. And so I think just using different avenues to be able to sell it, not you always being necessarily the spokesperson for your product or service, but using other things, other ways to be able to get that message out and showing up so people can see, oh, this does work. And so it's kind of like you think about infomercials. Instead of me being on the infomercial doing it myself, I actually have, and most of the time they have actors doing it, but maybe have real clients actually talking about the product and how it benefited them or the service. Is a great way to sell, especially for people like me. I don't like salesmen that are selly. So if you are genuine, it can have a different approach and can be more successful for some people.
That was code for she didn't like me when we met. So I'm just like, help me. I was very, very pushy. Saw an opportunity, I was going to seize it. That was, here's what's funny to me. One of the things that I've identified about selling is really, really identifying who it is that you're supposed to even be talking to or selling to. So often, I think that one of the biggest challenges for most clients, and this is why we have typically not had a problem selling products and services. And I think it's because we do a really, really good job of identifying who we should even be in front of. And there's no better way. When I learned this in radio, we were a specific format, right? And it was amazing to me how BMW would approach a market and they would say they have what they call a no urban dictate. This would be a rule that they would have at the buyer level, meaning the advertising agency that handled the BMW account may say something like, we have a no urban dictate. What that simply means is that we're not going to sell to Black people. That's exactly what that means. We are not going to position our vehicle. And here's why they would say such things. First of all, the kind of vehicle that we're selling, the base price is a $40,000, $50,000 brand new vehicle. Number one. Number two, the socioeconomic system of the Black people we know don't fit the category. They can afford this. And here's what I know in the Black community, BMW stood for Black man's wish. So what was crazy to me is that you would have all of these people aspiring to buy a BMW, but BMW back in the day would not position their product or service to a group of people who they thought would not buy it. Here's the difference. All Black people are not created equal, and that's your problem. All of your clients are not all of the people that you're trying to target are not created equal. I'll give you a quick example. We're doing an event in October called Bootstrap and Redefined, and it's the leadership edition of that particular event. It is designed for leaders who are struggling to grow their leadership, period. The kind of person there is leading a group of people and they're not very good at it. And if they are, they've hit a plateau and they need new ideas, fresh ways of approaching how to grow their leadership, particularly in this digital age. That's a very specific person. They probably run a nonprofit or a very small business. They probably don't have more than 5 to 20 employees somewhere in that neighborhood or volunteers. but they are desperate to try and figure out, how do I break through the ceiling? And so therefore they would pay the money to come up and pull up on this event to be able to go, because they want to get in the room with people who are already doing that. You hear how really specific I am, guys? And so my job is to position that in front of the people who want that. And I think that unfortunately what we do is that we lump everybody into same categories. And what you would say is that, oh, they wouldn't do that. And I could absolutely prove to you, sure they would. You just got to make sure you're figuring out where they are and how do you get in front of them. Tomorrow, we drill down on marketing. We're going to talk all about that. Can I tell you, marketing is simply positioning, but marketing is designed to lead to a sale eventually. Of course it is. Why would you position yourself as a business owner not to sell? Of course it does, right? Selling is a more direct way, is asking for it right now, or positioning yourself where the sale comes quicker. Marketing is more subtle. It's just getting in front of you. Oh, by the way, did you know? Did you know there was a group of people that could help you grow your relationships quite intentionally, where you can argue less? Did you know that there was a person that can help you, or a group or a community that could help you communicate in such a way that your kids hear you the first time and you don't have to go back and forth? Why do I know it? Because as the person who created the MAPS Relationship Academy, I know people who live a life of no strife. I know it sounds foreign to you, but it's possible. If you don't believe me, like to jump on a free discovery call with me and help walk you through some of the things that we provide and how we get people to do that. Does that make sense, y'all? So I want y'all to understand, and what I'd like to do before the room is over today, guys, if you guys are so bold, and I'm giving you some time because most of you guys are introverts, I know you, and you're here for all you the people talking about, I'm here for the comments. No, I want you to participate. And I really want you to really think through, what does it look like for you to show up? What is the problem that you solve? That's a question. In your business, when I asked the question earlier, what business are you in? Now my question is, what problem do you solve? I just got finished sharing you mine. YB, you were clipping it up. Let's go with Jennifer first and then come back to you, YB, because I think she's running short on time. Come on, Jen.
Hey, yes, I just wanted to say something to what John said. It wasn't until the point of what John said till I understood that I'm listening for the problem. This is when I'm talking to people who I don't know. Now, I've already solved this with the automation. When you get on a call with me, I already know what your problem is. The call is just a formality. But if I'm out in the street and I'm going to local businesses because I have a certain sales goal that I need to hit, I need to discover what their issue is by asking questions. And because of my background with ACN, which is the networking, which I absolutely hated. I hated doing network marketing because it wasn't comfortable for me. And it was exactly what Cherie said, shoving products down people's throat that they don't want. And so that tarnished it for me. And now I'm thinking, making up all of these things. Okay, when I go into these businesses, they're going to look at me as a network marketer. And that's not true, because as a business, you need certain things in your business. So a lot of times I'll go in and they'll be like, oh my goodness, I have been looking for somebody like you. Well, wait a minute. What is this on this card? Like, I've had a lot of people ask, like, well, wait a minute. Well, what is this? Well, how can that benefit me? Okay, yes, let's jump on a call. And then it's people that's just flat out, get out my store. I don't want it. And that's okay. But it wasn't okay at first because I did the sit in the car thing and oh my God, oh my God. And so I'm glad that YB said they're not saying no to you. They don't even know you. They don't even know me. They're saying no because that's number one, it may be a mindset thing and you don't want to work with them anyway. But you do have to know your products so that you know, okay, let's start with this and then I can sell them into something else later. But I think we just have to understand we're not shoving things down people's throats. We're just trying to see, what is your problem? I have solutions, but I need to know what your problem is and if I can provide the solution for you. If not, I'm going to refer you to someone in my network who can. And that's just simply it. I yield my mic.
I love that, Jen. I love that. Absolutely. YB, come on through. She was just bigging up some of the different strategies and things that you shared. Again, for those that just pulled up, guys, we're talking sales, promotions, marketing. We're going to talk about PR this week. The 4 things that, quite frankly, can make or break your business. Come on, YB.
Yeah, I was reflecting on what Cherie was talking about, and I was thinking about a program that I'm developing for introverts. And what I realized is that the challenge when it comes to introverts, and this will touch Jennifer and probably a couple other people, but is that they don't leverage a system for selling, right? So like for an extrovert, it just, because we're gregarious and it's easy for us to come up with that. We don't really think system. We just think people, right? We think, just go out and have a conversation and talk our way through. But if you listen to what Glenn just did when he promoted the MAPS community, if you really look at it, he did it systematically. Now, it's covered in his personality and it's covered in his ability to communicate. But when you break it down, there's literally 6 things that Glenn did, right? There's 6 things that Glenn did. And this is the system, right? This is the system. First, he had clarity. Glenn knows exactly what he's doing and what he's done and the results that he's gotten. So he has clarity. His clarity then increases his confidence, right? How do you know he has confidence? Because he's able to speak with authority, which leads to number 3, communicate. His ability to communicate the value. He even spoke about the challenge in his pitch, right? So he broke down, if you're struggling with this, if you're having this situation, he put it in such a way that the people who have that problem, they're going to say, oh my gosh, he's talking to me. So communication, then the communication leads to a connection. Why? Because the people who hear that message will then say, oh, hold up, he's talking to me. I might need to have a conversation. And he offered me an opportunity to do something for free. I need to take advantage of it, right? So then that connection leads to collaboration. And then that collaboration leads to currency. That's a system, right? That's a system. So for an introvert who values systems, if you look at where you might be struggling, you can easily isolate the one part and say, okay, I need to improve in this area. Maybe it's the clarity. Maybe it's the confidence. Maybe it's my ability to communicate or what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. Or maybe I just need to write my message down and not come off the top of the dome like the other people, right? Like for folks like me and Glenn, like I could just come off the top of the dome. And for those who don't know that urban vernacular, come off the top of my head with it, right? So I just want to clarify. But maybe it's the communication. Maybe you don't know how to connect. Maybe your words are not connecting. Maybe when you're talking to someone in person, you got bad breath, so you don't really connect. They want to get away from you, right? So we have to be able to isolate the challenge. So with those 6 steps or those 6 keys, when you have the system and you're not getting the results that you want, you can easily go in and say, okay, and now this is where having a coach is very important. Because you can't, Glenn, Kendall used to always tell us this all the time, right? A crooked stick can't tell that it's straight. I don't know, I messed that up, but
Yeah, no, that's it. The only way a crooked stick knows it's crooked is that it lines itself up with a straight stick.
Yeah, you got to get around some other sticks, right? So having a coach where you sit down with that person and say, hey, this is what I did. And the coach will say, okay, tweak this, tweak that. I remember going to Cherie because I was having some issues with Zoho. And she said, no, this is what you need to do. Do this, do that. Now I'm like the Zoho king, yo. Not really, but I'm killing it in the game. Like I'm selling most of my books through Zoho, right? I'm killing the game. But the point I'm making is for introverts, let's move away from I'm not good at this or I don't like this. No. Do I have a system for it? And if you don't have a system, then get a system and then identify where in the system is the breakdown. And I'm sure and I'm speaking Jen's language, right? Because, you know, at the end of the day, if you're going to have a process, the only way from getting from point A to point Z is to make sure your systems are in place. So I yield my mic on that, but I hope that that helps those who are introverts to understand that selling is not difficult. You just need a system of selling.
Love it. I love it.
Right.
I love it. Come on through, John. I love it,
Yeah.
YB.
Just real quick, YB, list them 6 again. I want to add number 7. You listed 6, and now I'm gonna give you 7. I'm gonna give you 7.
Yeah. Clarity.
You're gonna close with that.
Clarity.
Go ahead.
Confidence, communication, connections, collaboration, currency.
That leads to credibility. Your last C. Thank you.
But that's in the middle. So you reminded me. I should have added that in there. But just,
No, but it actually fits at your end because oh my God, YB, when you talking about if you ain't leave with the steps today, coach, you ain't want them. You ain't want them. If you ain't leave with the 6 steps today, man, good God.
John, one of the things I love about what YB said is that, and it plays so much into this equation. Most of us aren't good at selling because of a lack of confidence for some reason, and you just don't believe either in you or the product. When I was in radio sales, I remember saying to myself, I couldn't sell just any radio advertising. The reason why I was good at it was because of the format I was selling. I knew for a fact I couldn't sell talk radio like that, or I couldn't sell country radio like that. I couldn't. It's nothing for me to walk in and sell an urban product that I grew up listening to. I understand it intuitively. So why wouldn't I want to sign up and do that, especially if I don't have a system by which I do it? Now, if you have a system, you can sell anything. If you have a system to it, you can sell anything. And the reason why is because you're not doing the selling, the system is.
Right, but it's still a belief in the system, coach.
Absolutely. No, there has to be a belief there. But what I'm saying is a lot of times I think what our introverts do, and not just introverts, but a lot of times, guys, we're simply overthinking this and we're not doing it. And you made the point, John, when I want it bad enough, I'm going to figure that one out. I'm going to figure out something that's going to get me over the hump so that I can do what needs to be done because I need this in my life. Come on, John.
Yeah, so that beauty, oh man, you and YB are wearing me out because if you are not confident, the system will help bring you confidence. It goes back to what you and I were saying in the beginning. Then you go ahead and begin to work on your system. It's still a part of doing the work of learning your craft, learning your system. I tend to be in the faith-based areas because that is a natural bent for me. I naturally bend that way. I naturally speak that way. I naturally are in those circles. So there is never like I'm selling because I naturally speak in that jargon or vernacular or that language because I've been in it for 28 years at a high level. So that is not a sell for me. What I had to learn was the logistics and the systems around faith-based organizations and entities and people. That's what I had to learn, coach. But my innate ability, innovation, ingenuity, all those things that come out of a conversation was because I'm in it. I am faith-based. I am that. But the skill and the system that you and YB are talking about is something I had to learn on how to not to offend, how to pull back, how to move forward, when to insert myself, when to become a listener. That is the skill and gift that I had to work on, not the product, the skill of interjecting or being inside of that system is what I had to learn.
Bruh. You are good. Lord have mercy. YB, Christine. Y'all, let me just reset really quickly. This conversation is good. If you're getting any value out of this conversation, please put me in the chat. I just need to know that this thing is hitting, it's landing, it's resonating with you. Christine and then YB, come on, talk to me.
I am on fire listening to YB and John this morning. But I think about ministry. I think about when people are trying to, invite people to Christ or invite them to church, and the difference between, beating them over the head with the Bible and then sharing their experiences. Something that my pastor did a few weeks ago. We have a marriage ministry retreat coming up in October, and he wasn't even talking about the retreat, but what he was talking about was what a retreat did for his marriage so many years ago. He's been married for 36 years, but he talked about how his marriage was down in the dumps. And I think about those steps that YB talked about. That's exactly what my pastor did. He was not selling anything, but he shared how his marriage was in trouble until he went to this retreat. So he went to this conference, which helped him get back on track. And literally minutes after he shared that, people started going online and signing up for the retreat. And I say that to say that he did not shove anything down his throat, but what he did was he used those steps. He brought clarity. He was confident in what he said. He communicated his story. His story actually connected with the people in the audience. And he said, come and, collaborate with us so that we can help bring that about. And people started signing up at that point. But and what John said, he was credible in what he said. So I even think about that in ministry, because oftentimes we think about we cannot sell in ministry, or we cannot market ministry because it looks fake. It doesn't look genuine, but you're still doing the same thing, whether you have a business or whether you are in ministry, because you are communicating your story, your life experiences to bring someone to Christ. I'll yield.
That's so good. That's so good. YB, I know you were clipping it up, guys. This is fire. And I see y'all in the comments. Keep them coming. Come on, YB.
Yeah, I love what was just shared by John and Christine. I think the most important thing, and even to your point, Glenn, about the selling of like country radio or talk radio, is that there has to be an infusion of knowledge, right? So when when John was talking about being able to sell in ministry and do those things, like it has to be the knowledge of that particular aspect is what's going to produce the confidence. See, the challenge is you can't promote what you don't know about. You can't sell what you don't know about. And the confidence is really going to come not from the actual product, but the impact that that product has on the individual. See, that's where we have to shift the mindset. It's not about the product. Like, nobody's probably excited about, when I was building my Amway business, most people wasn't excited about selling Nutrilite Double X, right? Most people, because they weren't either a product of the product, or they didn't have enough knowledge of how the product impacts people. So they looked at it like, man, I don't know if I would buy this for $75. So why would I buy it? Why would I sell it? Because nobody else. No. Once you become a product of the product, or once you become knowledgeable to the point where you know that there are people who have a need for that service, and the only way that they're probably going to get it is if you promote it. So you have to enhance your knowledge and your understanding, and then maybe go out and find some people who've already used the service and say, listen, I have to go out and promote, or I'm in a position, not that I have to, I get to, right? So I get to promote this certain product, but I need to be educated on it. Can you tell me, what has this service done for you? How has this affected you? And let those people talk. And then you start to say, you know what? Maybe I need to be a product of the product. And what happens is you will know enough to be dangerous in terms of connecting with the people you talk to, because now you can relate. See, there has to be some rapport built in order for you to get the credibility, right? And so, but once you realize and you shift from what you want in terms of saying, I don't like this, I don't like that. No, you think about, what does this do to the other person? Right? What does this do to the other person? And once that comes about you and you have that knowledge, then when you approach someone, you can be honest to say, you know what, I don't really know much about country music. I understand that this percentage of people use it and this and this and that, and I know about Garth Brooks, but tell me, what's your flavor when it comes to this type of music? And just let people talk. And then they're gonna say, well, why are you here? Well, the reason why I'm here is because the organization I'm working with, we're offering an opportunity for businesses like yours to align themselves with country music so that they can increase the visibility amongst the people who listen to country music.
Bro.
In such a way that they see the benefit. that they want the benefit, and that's what they're going to part their money with so they can get the benefit. This is why I be a yield my mic.
8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock straight up Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. Guys, this is the game right here. I hope you guys are understanding what we're saying. Let me go to the comments for a quick second. Shanae Bay said, I don't like selling because I don't like being sold. When I shop, it is 99% of the time with specific intent. So if I enter a store or marketing event and I'm engaged by someone that doesn't hear me when I say I'm not interested, I'm immediately turned off. Shanae, I got a question. In your business, in your entrepreneurial business, what problem do you solve? What solution do you provide? What problem do you solve? And how would people know that? If they are looking for you, where are you positioned where they can find you? All week long, we're going to unpack some tenets around sales, marketing, promotions, and PR. Let me share something with all of you guys that I've learned the hard way. Everybody is looking for something. Everybody. The question is, do you have it? Shall I look for another? Typically speaking, what a car salesman knows is that if you're on the car lot of a Toyota dealership, you're looking for a Toyota. And I'm not talking about the used car dealership part of the Toyota dealership. You're not just looking for a car. Now, if they ask the right questions, they can find out if it's because you have a particular price point, and that's why you chose Toyota over Honda, or if this is something that is unique to you. And so I think that what we really ought to be thinking about is how do we become really clear on what it is that we have available and how does this help you? Because I can promise you at some point, they all do the same thing. They get you from point A to point B. The question is, why do you want this one? Why would you pull up here at the Honda dealership as opposed to Ford? That's a question. Oh, because I've owned Hondas all my life? Really? Let me ask you this. First Honda you ever had? Quit. It was a Civic. Really? Me too. Was yours a manual shift or automatic? Like, we're just having a conversation about a favorite car. Does that make sense? And so I'm telling you right now, if you can position yourself, and so I literally just asked Shanae a question. Now, Shanae came in the room. She's never been here to my knowledge. Welcome to the room, Shanae. Grateful that you're here. Or is it Shani? It might be Shani B. I might be mispronouncing that. I apologize. But now she's sharing with me because I asked her a question. I meal prep and cater. So typically my resolution is fulfilling a service people don't have time for, talent, or simply don't want. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret, Shani. I would have never known that had you not told me. Ever. But because you decided to show up today and chime in on a conversation that was being had about something ancillary, here's what I can tell you. When I clicked on your bio in Clubhouse, it said nothing about what you just said. Now, if I opened it, it may have said more, but your first 3 lines didn't say anything about that. Shanae, does that make sense? So why am I saying this? Introverts, please hear me very, very clearly. People who are afraid to show up. Now, everybody is perusing your... Listen, everybody is perusing your deal. Dedicated IT professional, mother and entrepreneur, owner, Nays Nutritional Nuggets. I do not know in those first 3 lines that you cater at all. I don't know that you meal prep at all. Here, let me give you a tip really quickly. Go change your bio immediately and says, hi, my name is Shani, and I prepare meals for people.
Yeah, that's Shanae. That's Shanae. Go.
Shanae,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it right. And it's so Shanae, what I'm saying is that you did something that caused me to pay attention to you long enough to figure out what it is that you do. If you came in the room and you said that off break without me saying anything, what I know about this particular medium, people are nosy and they generally are going to look. If they see something that piques their interest right off the break, they're going to open it up. If you said to me, and what you don't know is that as soon as we move to Panama, one of the first people that I'm looking for is a chef. I need a meal prepper that's going to come to my house twice a week, shop for the food, cook the food, pack it up, and take out all the trash and do what needs to be done. One of the first things, I promise you, I will have one within the first 10 days that we're there. Because I know me, I am going there for a specific purpose. Why am I saying this, guys? To the degree that we're able to do these kinds of things, I promise you it changes everything. Now I'm interested in what it is that you provide. And what we have to do is we have to become ridiculously clear and own that part of it. Because I'm with most of you guys, I do not like asking people, for a sale per se. I'm not built that way. I much ask you, how was your day? What do? You have kids. I'm much more interested in your personal life than your professional life. I promise you. Come on, Christine, and then Jen.
I just had to say this. This goes back to the 4 clarity questions, Coach. And when we talk about who are you, what do you do, why do you do it, who do you do it for, people don't understand how critical answering those questions are. And a lot of people get stuck at the first one, who are you? And that is one thing that you have taught me, is to, off the break, tell people who you are. I'm not talking about my name and my title, but who are you? And once people figure that part out, then everything else becomes clear. At least it did for me. And it helped me to share. I don't even use the word sell. I use the word share. I am sharing with you who I am, why I do what I do. When you talk about, well, what problem do you solve? I know immediately what problem I solve. Now, some years ago, I could not have answered that question because I didn't even know. But now I know what problem I solve. I help moms go from no time to me time, period. Now I can tell you, moms are like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? How do you get me time? How do you get dedicated me time? I am so glad you asked. And then I go from there, but I had to understand who I was first. So that's the first, everything we're talking about leads to those 4 clarity. I just wanted to share that question, Coach, because I know we talk about it sporadically, but that's the key for me. And I think that's the key for everyone. I'll yield.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it may have been, was it John clipping it up? No, it was Jen and then John. Come on, Jen.
It was me. So I wanted to address what Karen said, because I think we're the same. Whereas you guys know I don't like small talk. You've all got on sales calls with me. I don't want to talk about the weather. We're here for business. Let's get it. The system they were referring to helps with that. And we're not talking about software. And it's funny that we're talking about systems. I didn't know we were going to talk about systems. God told me to take off the shirt I had on and put the shirt on. I didn't know why. I just put it on. Okay, I'm wearing the God System shirt today. And it's my brand. If you see, this is my brand. So it's my life. It's how I think. For me, I have to know what to say. What do I say? If they say this, what do I say? Okay, if they say that, what do I say? Till I don't need it anymore. But starting out, having that system in place. So when Karen says, I don't like small talk, I just want to get it over with, the list of questions will help with that. Because the questions are strategic, just like Coach said, you're in a car dealership, but you're asking about what's your favorite car? It appears to be small talk, but it's strategic.
Jen.
So, yes.
You better come on, girl.
Yes.
I'm about to jump through this thing and hug you all around your neck.
So we try to steer away from strategy, and we don't understand. We're saying small talk, but it's small talk with a purpose. It's a strategy. And it's a strategy to lead that conversation to where we want to lead it to. So I want everyone to get with someone who's in their industry. Because for me, I had to find people specifically in my industry for me to get this. I didn't understand it when YB was saying it, because my mind was like, but. Because my other shirt says, hold on while I overthink this.
Help me.
but I had to get with someone who does what I do. I had to align myself with people who sell systems the way I sell systems, the way I should be, for me to understand it. So I think everyone should definitely get with people who understand the industry and are able to help you create these strategic conversations. So it's small talk, but remember, strategy.
Listen, speaking of strategy, I must take a quick commercial break really quickly, Sheree. Really, really quickly. I promise you, I will come right back to you. Oh my goodness, it's 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. I want to say thank you so much to AARP, who is the sponsor for the room this week. They also are the title sponsor for Bootstrapping Redefined. Did you know that AARP provides discounts to individuals, more than discounts to individuals 50 and over? A lot of people have associated AARP for the last couple of decades with just retirement. Well, they're more than that now, guys. Membership is available to people of all ages now, and they also support entrepreneurs and business owners. Did you know that? If you're a small business owner or you're considering a future as one, learn from success stories and best practices that you can use during your journey. Check out the resources that AARP provides. They, again, are the title sponsor for Bootstrapping Redefined. We appreciate them so very much. For those of you guys that are just pulling up, welcome to the room. This is the morning show, Real Lessons in Life and Business. All week long, we're going to be talking about the theme of sales, marketing, promotions, and PR, the stuff that'll make or break your business. That being said, Sheree, come on through. I hope you didn't lose your point.
No, I didn't lose my point. Thank you. So Jen. So one of the things as a introvert for me, I had to overcome, and this is for Karen as well, being able to overcome that whole the small talk thing that I don't just talk. I don't just randomly talk just to be talking. It's purposed. I'm not going to sit there and chit chat with you about the weather. But the thing I realized very early on was that I had to make a connection with people, and they had to connect to me as a person. And when I started looking at that small talk as me connecting to them, for them to see me as a person, as a human, not just a robot that's just here, because I can be very strategic. I can be very didactic. I can give you the points. I can do that. But there was a personal part of me. I had to let them get to know me, because I realized that when it comes to selling anything, whether that was when I was doing real estate, whether it's with our business now, people need to connect to you as a person before they're willing to spend money. Because Glenn, I don't know if this was your saying or if you got it from somewhere else, but people don't buy your product. They don't do business with your product or your service. They're doing business with you. And so they have to connect to you personally. And so that small talk, if you look at it as, I need to connect to this person. I need to that's how you're going to find out what those pain points are of that individual. Although overall, you may know everybody needs this product or this service because everybody deals with this. I need to know what that person's particular pain points are. But the only way I get to that is by having a personal conversation with them. Now, you don't want to ramble and go too far off in the deep end, but absolutely, you do have to connect to them somewhere.
Sheree, I think that connection is so overlooked in many ways. Even if you think about a big box store, you don't know who owns Nordstrom's, but I promise you know the lady that waits on you in the handbag area. You don't know who may be on the board at, Target, but I promise you, the sales team that's on the floor have made such a connection with you in many ways that it keeps you coming back again and again. Now, there is some room and conversation for talk with people like me, for instance. As a shopper and a consumer, I generally don't want to talk to you. And I'm just going to add this part. I generally don't want to talk to you, but you get me before I have to have a conversation. Let me tell you why. I'm in the market for a drone right now, and I know several people who own them. I've hired people to fly and shoot footage for me with a drone. One of the things that I want to do when I get to Panama is become really, really good at flying a drone. And the reason is because I want to be able to tell stories from an aerial perspective. And I don't want to have to hire somebody or depend on them. There's a language barrier there. I need to move quickly. I'm not going into a store to connect with you personally. I need to connect with your personal story on how this drone can help me. Because when I do reach out to you, we're going to need to have a very real conversation because I've never flown one before. So I'm going to need to have a real life conversation with somebody at some point when it comes to me actually purchasing. And here's what I can promise you, because of research and the ability to go look, I kind of know which one I want and why. Because I connected to a guy who was created some content around it, and it made sense to me. So I feel like I made a connection. What DJI don't know is I've already bought their microphone. Now I'm about to buy their drone, not because I know the owner of DJI, but I know a drone, a person who has perfected the ability to fly, and they perfected the ability to tell me why that is. So at some point, what I'm saying to you guys, it would behoove you, and the way they do that is they get influencers to tell their stories, to be personable for them. So either way, there's a connection somewhere. There's a connection. And I think that when you master that, it changes the sales game for you. Because now, very similar, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Now you've created such a know, like, and trust factor. I can tell you most of the people that do business with me, they don't do business with me because I've sold with them. They do business with me because they've connected to me. And that's one of the benefits of being on this morning show every day. I've had people spend $3,500 for a service that we offer, and I've never met them or spoke to them on a discovery call, so that when I got on a discovery call, Jen, those questions were so specific. In 15 minutes, they said, oh, I was sold before we got on discovery call. I told my husband, you were going to be my coach because of how I connected with you when you showed up in a public space, sharing how you share. I hope that makes sense. Anybody want to chime in on this? We're talking sales today. Come on, John.
Right. So these perspectives are like totally awesome. I love how everyone approaches it because it is personable on how you wrap around your sales. I want to go back to Jennifer, Coach, if I may. Jennifer was talking about her approach, how she got into systems. Now, it's not until recent times that the J family has joined the Kona family with me, working with me, till her becoming an operator. Well, I talked to Jennifer last year about Kona, how she could help me, but I now understand why she ain't never come, because she ain't understand the language. And it is not until she got into the seat of a Kona operator till now she's like, oh, when we gonna meet? We gotta meet. I'm like, this is what I've been trying to tell you. I told you were supposed to work with me last year. Here we almost a year later. Now they got everything that's probably gonna help my business go to the next level. But I did not have the time to wait for them to get it because I wasn't selling. I needed them to experience. So for Jennifer, I think you should shadow business owners as a service. Just like, hey, you mind if I shadow you for half a day? No cost.
Wow.
And all the while, Jen, you picking their ass apart. Like you just in your mind, like, yup. And you come up with a solution before they even ask for one. And the next time you shadow them, because you'll do it for 2 days, it'll be a equivalent of 1 day, 4 hours. The next time you come say, you know what? It was this. Know how I know that's gonna work? Because Taylor J got a whole list of stuff that she ready to share with me, and now we can ready to sit down and do a meeting centered around what she has experienced against what she already knows, added to what I'm going to show her that Kona already has that I don't do because I don't have the time, because I'm looking for a how. I'm looking for a who, not a how. I know how to do it. I don't want to, don't have the time to. I need a who. And the J may become my who. It's just different ways to do it. Nobody was wrong or right. It's just time availed itself because it's time. And I think Christine said that. It's the sharing. Sometimes you got to travel 45 minutes to get to a place that is uncomfortable to find out that, dang, this was sitting under my nose the whole time. I'm done speaking.
Boy, y'all, if this is good to you like it's good to me, put me in the chat. I'm sitting here saying to myself, it makes sense. And I think that, somebody said it earlier, as extroverted and relational as I am, I'm highly strategic about what I talk to people about. Highly. When I started writing books and I was trying to figure out how do I market and promote and sell this book, people needed to understand how the book would transform their life. If you buy the book, here are the solutions to a problem that it provides. And so if it's managing students through relationships and not rules, there are 7 connection keys that everybody who is managing a student need to understand, because they really would do the work for you if you built a relationship with them that was solid enough. You don't have to worry about the rules. I learned this as a school bus driver. I learned this as a youth pastor. And so all I had to do is figure out a way to market that. Well, driving a school bus helped. Because at this particular point, now I can tell the story from the vantage point of being a school bus driver, and I've sold thousands of books to school systems all across the country because I understood their unique position on managing these kids. The point I'm making is, guys, is that may look different for you. I want you to do the work of what it looks like to figure out how do you show up in front of a person and help them understand the problem that you solve. I asked that question earlier. I'm not sure if anybody put it in the chat. The question is, what problem do you solve in your business? What problem do you solve? And part of the reason why I think it makes it really difficult is that you really don't know. you really don't know. Because if you did, you could rattle that off the top of your head. I know exactly what problem I solve for every product or service that we offer. I know. Come on, YB.
Yeah, I just wanted to address something I think Cherie was talking about when it came to like the small talk. A lot of it is really being self-aware and knowing, first of all, your communication style, and then studying everyone else's communication style or personality traits, so that when you do encounter someone who's not about the small talk, right? There's like 12% of people who are very direct. They don't want no fluff. They don't want the meat. They don't want all this other stuff. Just give them the facts, right? But when you study those type of people, you know exactly how to communicate with them. There's some people that you just need to take your time when you're speaking to them, because if you go too fast, they're not going to trust you. And so therefore you lose the opportunity to build the connection, right? So notice how that's a part of communication, is really studying the 4 animals and understanding how they operate, how they move, what they like, what they don't like, so that when you encounter someone who is that particular animal, you essentially can make the connection in such a way that they feel like y'all have known each other for years. Well, that's a part of the system, right? So being able to understand, when you come across someone who's very direct, don't give them a bunch of small talk. They don't care about none of that, right? But the person like the flamingo, they love all that. But just make sure you get to the point to talk about your business, because you go 3 hours having conversations about your family, all this other stuff, and then you go back and say, man, I didn't even accomplish what I was supposed to do while I was here. Right. So I just wanted to offer that point to people, to make sure that you're studying the animals, understanding the personality traits and the communication styles, because once you become self-aware about you and everyone around you, you then become a master at connecting, and then that takes it to another level. This is why I yield the mic.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, YB. Come on, Jen. I see you nodding your head.
I just want to say he is so spot on, and John just said it. We're here a year later, and it's because you can't leave us to think. we need to understand exactly what you want. What is it that you want? What do you need me to do? How is it going to benefit me? I've learned now to ask the questions because I seem to attract a lot of flamingos. And as I think back, I understand why. My dad was a flamingo, and him and I used to argue all the time because although he was direct, he also went all the way around Mulberry's Bush. What is it that you want? Listen, I need to understand what you want. What do you need me to do? So I can wrap my mind around and process this. Now, if you start talking about cars and the weather and all this other stuff, it's lost. And so if you don't come direct, and I've lost a lot of relationships because of this. If you don't come direct, I'm not going to read your mind. I'm not going to look crazy thinking you love me and you don't. You know, it's just you have to be direct with us. And once you understand that, it makes communication very easy. Just like YB said, you have to understand that. It's like, what are we doing here? Let's go. Meetings are the same. If the meeting is for an hour, I need that meeting to be for an hour. Let's get in here, let's get it done, and let's go. I don't want to talk about what you did last night. I don't want to talk about any of that. I want to get the business done and go because y'all drain my energy. And I know that. So
here's one of the things I love about the turtles in my life. And as a flamingo, I need Jen. I need Cherie, and I need Christine in my life. Because without them, I would get nothing done. But they also need me. They need my energy. They need my charisma. They need my boldness to jump out there without a parachute to say, hey, here's where we're going. Together, when we learn how to speak and communicate through the prism of each other's temperament, it changes everything. And so now I'm not looking at Jen as an irritant because she's asking me for details. I'll position a conversation like this. Hey, Cherie, do me a favor. Let's get it on the calendar. We need to talk to this group of people on the team about this, and this. Make sure that when you do that, send them out an agenda of the 4 things that we're going to cover. We're only going to be 30 minutes. And what I do is I put my timer on when I get on the call with them. And then I get out of there in 22 minutes, enough to say, well, what did y'all think about that? Give me some feedback. Are there any questions? And oh, by the way, if you don't, do me a favor and make sure that you text me or you email me a follow-up because I'm structuring it based on who's in the room. I don't need to do that when I'm meeting with John. I don't need to structure a meeting like that hey, John, let me run something past you real quick. I got an idea. What do you think? And he and I will go, Jennifer's laughing. She know I'm telling the truth. Because at this particular point, it's like, I don't need to do that with YB. YB, I'm thinking this. What are your thoughts? Rocky, hey, Rock, what are your thoughts around this? Now, Rocky is a little bit different because she's highly analytical when it comes to her geek stuff, the stuff that she loves to do. You can't have that kind of conversation around IG with Rocky. Or anything social, to be quite frank, or strategy, because she's highly strategic as flamingo as she is. However, the challenge is that you got to know who's in the room, who's clipping it up. I saw something.
Yeah, I was clipping it up. Jen, I owe you an apology. Number one. So I realized when I'm in the room with other turtles and chameleons, my flamingo comes out. At the beginning of the meeting, because as she's talking, I'm like, oh, that's what I do in our meetings. I do that. But I think it's key to know who you're in the room with. And I think that's an excellent point that when we communicate, we have to know who's in the room and we have to make sure that we communicate in the way that they're going to receive it so that we don't, because like I said earlier, I don't like sales people, because that turns me off. And so if you know me, when you're coming to me with a product, you're going to come in a way that I'm going to receive it. Now, we don't know that necessarily about strangers when we meet them on the side of the road or when we walk into a business, but you got to check the tone, read the room. Because I've seen people, they'll walk into a room, it's quiet, it's real serene, and you come in on 100 and you will turn them off, or you'll come in, it'll be, the room is on 100. Excuse me. Sorry, can I get somebody's attention, please? Excuse me. No, you gotta match, you gotta read the room and you have to match the energy in the room or match the, you gotta come in where they are in order for them to receive them. So you have to read the room. So even though I know some people are saying, well, I don't know, when I walk into a business, I don't know these people. I don't know how they respond, but read the room. And if you pay attention, you don't walk right in the door, number one, and start in with your pitch. You need to walk around. You need to kind of acclimate yourself to the environment first. Then, even when you go into a business meeting, I never go into business meetings and I'm the first one to talk. I sit there and observe first so that I know where to fit in, where to come into the meeting.
That's good. Yeah, take a
Hey,
temperature. We call it
Coach.
taking that temperature. Come on, John.
All right. So Cherie, I don't like you right now. Yeah. And all right. I am the 100 in the I am the 100 coming in a 0 room. I am the 0 coming in a 100 room. You don't like to talk first, but I found out that I'm going to talk first because nobody won't open their DAM in mouth in the meeting. So it's amazing, but that's the confidence in knowing who you are. YB, Cherie, Christine. I already know I'm boisterous, loud, overwhelming. I know all that. And I know how to bring it down when the people just give a certain look. I'm not offended at all. I just bring it on down to 75. But you still gonna get all this flamingo. You're gonna get all of it. As YB would say, you're gonna get all of this. But you're gonna get all of this because I'm not gonna devalue who I am. I'm just gonna bring it down. Because the temperature said that it's about 75. But if it's 75, I'm gonna be at 75. I'm not coming at 72. If it's 100, I'm gonna be 100. I think you got to know yourself and be confident in yourself. That's what I'm hearing through this. Get a plan, learn your craft, be confident, and know why the heck you doing what you do. I think Christine said that in the beginning. Once you get all those things, it don't matter if you are a novice, an amateur, or a pro. I think we'll be able to talk to anyone about what we do. But I think the knowledge of who you are and what you do gives you the confidence, even in an unfamiliar place. So that's why any room that I go into, and Christine, I'm gonna say for you, even though you may not be vocal like I am, it don't mean that you're not confident. You just looking at your point of insertion. It has no difference on the attack. The attack is still what it is. You are certain one way, I'm certain another way. The point is because we're confident in what we talk about. And as we share, coach, as we share what got the MMC for me, I was like, man, I already know how coach is, but if I get to talk to him one-on-one once a week about what I love and how I can get my business better, yup, that's the program for me. It was the point that I get to share with somebody who has high energy. For somebody else, it may be, coach, that you're very relational and you articulate and you're very strategic. That might turn them on. For them, it may be because you're married to a woman that is very thought-provoking and strategic in a pathway. It may not have nothing to do with you. It may just because it's your wife. So the package is a sale for me. So it's all these components. Likewise, your package can also discourage people from working with you. And I'm gonna leave my mic right there.
Claude, have mercy. Listen, it's 8:33. Y'all, this conversation is so good. I can't wait for us to pull up and talk tomorrow a little bit about marketing. This is something that for those of you guys who do not like to sell directly, marketing may be an area that you lean into to help add value to your sales highly strategically. I am a proponent on people selling themselves. I learned this a long time ago. We was working at Radio 1 in Baltimore, Alfred Liggins, Kathy Hughes' son, who's my age. And when we were working together, we were two 30-year-olds. He happened to be the co-owner of the company. I was just working there. He taught me a very valuable lesson. When you go to the Wharton School of Business, you learn some things. And so I sat and I listened to this brother who was my age and quite frankly knew a ton more than I did. And he said to me, he said, Glenn, here's your challenge. Because you like to talk, you don't let people sell themselves. And that's something that quite frankly, I can slip into in a heartbeat. It's part of my DNA. I like the relationship. And the person then sold themselves 10 minutes ago. And so this is one of the reasons why it's critical for you to understand who's in your room. One of the reasons why when you jump on a discovery call with me, I know exactly what we want to talk about because of the systems that are around me. And so I can get on and off a call with you in 15 minutes, as much as I like to talk, and you have talked for 10 or 12 of those minutes, and I can tell you, here's what you need, this is why you need it, and when do you want to start? Or if you're the person that needs me to relate with you, I'm still going to relate with you. Now, I'm talking 12 minutes and you're saying, I needed to hear that. Where do I start? I can go either way. And the reason why is because I'm very clear of who's in the room. Part of that was my systems that developed or delivered that level of accuracy. So I need y'all to understand a lot of this is really how you set it up. It's the psychology for sure, Jen. You know how you sell an introvert? You don't. You ask them questions. You want to sell to a person that don't like the small talk? You don't. You ask them very specific questions and you do more listening than you do talking. Period. End of the story. If they come on kicking tires, you just walk up, introduce yourself. If you need anything, I'll be over in the corner. And you go to your corner and don't come back. But here's what you do. You pay attention to that joker as they're walking through the building. Because when they need you, they're going to look up. They're not even going to wait. They're just going to look your way. And if your eyes, because you so flamingo, is not on them, you've lost the sale. You're supposed to be able to pick up what they putting down because they ain't going to talk to you about it. And then what they're going to do when they get you over there, they're going to say, let me ask you this specific question. Where does the cotton in these jeans come from? Now they're testing your knowledge. Well, it's spun in a small factory in Egypt where we are harvesting this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. I like that. And they're going to ask you, and don't give them too much. Answer the question and shut up. Because they didn't ask you, well, how many years has it been in business and who the owner was and how many kids they got and that they're black owned. They didn't ask you none of that. An introvert will lead you down the path of selling themselves. And then you just literally say, hey, is there anything else I can help you with? You know what? I'm not sure, but I'll let you know. Those are the kind of people that come and buy all of the things on the rack. They turn right around and come back and bring their people to unload the stuff. Okay, I need 25 of them right there. You got any more? I just see 10 out here. Oh, we got 15 in the back. Okay, I need that. So y'all come on in and get this. And then at the checkout counter, when they're checking out, this is when they generally are going to lighten up. I just want to let you know I appreciate you for being so attentive. I'm telling you, by and large, Diane, that's true of most. How do I know that? Because I've been married to one for 24 years. And I've learned how to study her. So the point I'm making is, guys, is that to the degree that you're able to pay attention and move accordingly, it changes everything. That's it for the day. I'm taking it up to Philadelphia because I'm feeling a vibe. Did y'all see that comedy special with your boy Byron? What's his last name? Byron, the one that owns the Weather Channel. Boy, when Boys II Men hit the stage and they dropped this one right here, the crowd went crazy. Let's go. Hey. Grand Rising, everybody. Great morning, 8:38 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour here in the U.S. on the East Coast. My name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. This is the morning show. It's real lessons in life and business. Shout out to our media partner, KBC and TV, where you guys on Facebook and YouTube and even LinkedIn, the way you see us is through their feeds. Shout out to AARP, who is sponsoring us for this week. I bet you didn't know that AARP now services people who are not just over 50. Business owners, entrepreneurs. If you want to get some tips and strategies on how to do what it is that you do, They've got some resources for you. Shout out to AARP for being the sponsors of Bootstrap and Redefined. It goes down October 13th and 14th. If you have not gotten your ticket for that event, we are doing a blowout sale for those of you guys who cannot make it to Atlanta. $49 gets you full access to all of us as live. And guys, this is truly live. This ain't us, sending you a recording. No, you are going to be able to interact and engage with those of us who are there and live in person. So pick it up, click the link at the top of the room in my here on Clubhouse. I was going to say in my bio, but right here on Clubhouse. And it'll give you that. And by the way, Rocky ain't here. Cherie heard you loud and clear because that's what turtles do. It's the only thing you can find in our link. See, I promise you, Christine, if they left that up to me, that junk would have still been great. That's why I need my team. Did y'all have a good time this morning? Put me in the chat. Let's go. Hey. I'm going to run around the room real quick before we get out of here. For those that pulled up a little bit later, didn't get a chance to shout you out. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way to the top. Good to see you in the building, Elena, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Almathea, Almatha, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My apologies. Terry, it's good to see you. Keitra, good to see you. Shout out to those of you guys in Detroit. I love it. Diane, thanks for all the chat. In the chat today. I love it when y'all give me feedback. Now check this out. I love it. Let's go. Holistic health and wellness. It's Salubrious. I'm not sure if Blends LLC. You're gonna have to help me out, sis, and phonetically spell that joint. I love it. Grand Rising, great morning. Good to have you in the building. Phil is in the building. One of our day ones. Good to see you, Phil. Elaine is in the building. Terry is in the building. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. Mimi, what it do? Mama Schultz is in the building. Kirk the Connect is here. Let's go. Shawnee is in the building. Good to see you. Latondra Coffee, good to see you. D Hud is in the building. Miss you, bro. Hope all is well. Robert, Stephanie, Yolanda, shout out to the MMC. If you guys are wondering where to get one of those MMC Rocks badges, that's reserved for all the people that come through our Business Builder Academy. Marcus is in the building. Stephanie Dom is in the building. Ashley Love. Hey, Ashley. We're going to have to run this one back. I'm sorry, Ashley. I'm just so sorry. I looked up and realized that our boy Eric Sterling was in Philly. So let me find out he pulled up on that route situation. Ashley, how was your event last weekend? Yeah, because Flamingos, we care about small talk. It matters to Ashley that I remembered her event last Memorial Day weekend, and it was a hype event, and I'm sure they did an incredible job giving back to the community. That's the Flamingo in me, and that's why people like to work with me, because I remember stuff like that. That's just how I'm built. They work with Jen because she just gets stuff done. Me not. So. Good to see you, Uncle Herlin. Kathy and Karen, the Wonder Twins, are in the building. Frickin' frack, Pete and repeat. They are absolutely opposites, and they do attract, even though they look exactly alike. Hey, Sharon, Grand Rising. Great to see Nona in the building. Tessie Tess, one of our presenters for Bootstrap and Redefine, is in the building. Hey, Tessie. Shout out to all my West Palm Beach people. Let's go. Hey, Sean, by the way, I saw your work. Sean is out here in these streets, y'all, and she is developing LED signs that are fire. When we get settled in Panama, don't think it's strange when your boy reaches out, Sean. Your work is fire, girl. Hey, Sharon, what's going on? Namesake. Jill is in the building. Jill Hines is in the building. Dr. Pam is in the building. Tammy is here. James. Uncle Ernie. Of course, YB, John, Jennifer, Cherie, Christine. At the end of the day, we can't get to any place of significance by ourselves. I need everybody to come through and help me out. Why is that the case? It's because we all need some. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. The room will close when the music does. We got a quick debrief today. Y'all be good. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let's get it. Dom said, don't stop the music. No, we got to play this one all the way to the end, Dom. Let's go.
Now check this out. One day back, wanted to sing. It came up to my what's your name?
What's the man? Let's go.
And I said, all right, fellas, let me see what you can do.
Summer is here.
Smile when they
This is a
want.
summer song. Come on, break it down.
Check this out. See if this one moves.
YB, you silly. Oh, that's John. Come on now. Y'all know John went to high school with them jokers. Y'all know he was in the group before it was a group. That's real. Fun fact. Shout out to my Philadelphians. Let's go. Y'all be good. We'll see you back. This room will end in 5, 4, 3, 2. See y'all tomorrow. Y'all.